inclusiveness inside kind of the automotive space. It's not a topic that's typically talked about. I'm in hundreds and hundreds of operations meetings every single year, from individual rooftops, dealer groups, and it's not something that's typically discussed. And I think this is something that, General Motors has taken a huge stance on, and they've been very public about, all right, their approach to inclusiveness. And I think it's something that we could really learn, from the individual dealership and even the dealer groups and I'd love to kind of get your story from what your approach or what your experience was with working with more of an inclusive company.
Sure. Happy to have that conversation. And the last piece was after Prospect Vision. I then joined up with General Motors about 4 years ago. And, you are correct. It is a incredibly inclusive company. Mm-hmm. I did not know that when I joined. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, to be perfectly blunt. I had spent my entire life kind of on the East Coast, mm-hmm. and was moving out to what I assumed was a older, established company in Michigan, and I really didn't know what to expect. The reason it's pretty directly relevant to me is, I should have mentioned as well that I am a gay executive in the automotive space. I wasn't always. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily something that I am proud of or not, but that's my story, and we each have our own. I was married to a woman for many years. I have 4 amazing daughters. I came out to friends and family about 11 years ago now, but never was comfortable coming out in my professional life until I got to GM. And
in the automotive space, I think there's a lot that can be dissected there and kind of talked about, right? When I think of the automotive space, just in general, all right, we're not necessarily taught to be ourselves, right? It's very robotic, all right? These are the 12 steps to the sale. Here's exactly how you have to do your meet and greet, all right? This is exactly the way you have to dress. Here's your name tag. And there's not a lot of room, all right? Well, at least in the past, I'm seeing so much more, and I would say in the last 5 years, where staff and employees can really embrace who they are within the workplace, not necessarily just fitting into the mold that the workplace is looking for. And, it's like, how do you start that conversation?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, there's been a lot of progress, but if one were to generalize, we are not known as the sort of most open-minded,
it's true.
Progressive industry, particularly in the retail world. Mm-hmm. It is a little bit more of some of the male-dominated mm-hmm. World. And as I said, I just never quite felt comfortable, while at Prospect Vision, which is when I came out, I was calling on dealer principals and general managers all day long to try and get them to join up with our service. And, there's 2 ways to look at it. One way you could look at it and say, why bring it up? It's nobody's business what my sex life is. Nobody else tells me theirs. And so you could easily justify that it's just not something you need to bring up. And that was kind of the approach that I took, particularly knowing that it was not the most open area. That said, now that I've been at legitimately one of the most inclusive companies in the world, and we can talk about that, I can truly say it is so much better to allow people to be themselves, yes, as the expression goes, be able to bring their whole selves to work, and not have to keep this little secret. And it's just much better. You get people are more comfortable, they're themselves, they're happier, they're more productive. Diverse opinions are very important, and that's a big part of diversity is, just you need it, whether it's male, female, white, black, whatever, you want different diversity of opinion to get to the best outcome.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Don't want to miss new content? Be sure to check out the full podcast library at strategywithjason.com to stay in the know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy podcasting.